Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. Sorry about that small, that sort of false start, but we are here completely ready. In fact, as ready as the military appears to be in terms of taking charge of the whole issue of criminality in this country. Remember, the president had said recently that he was giving marching orders to the security forces that by the end of the year they had to have substantially dented the criminality plaguing the country up and down. Okay, our guest this morning is security and defense consultant. He's also CEO of Aquiline Intelligence, talking about Mr. Onyekachi Adekoya. Good morning to you, Mr. Adekoya.
Yeah, good morning, sir, and good morning to the viewers.
Indeed, thank you very much for taking the time to come and speak to us, especially when you look at the Northwest and insecurity. Troops, as you know, have sustained the offensive against bandits in Zamfara state, and there are news reports that substantial dents were made in their whole infrastructure. Up to 50 of them have been killed. First of all, give me your general comment on the army now and the sort of new fillip that's coming to their operations in terms of controlling banditry.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think we must commend the Nigerian army for sustaining the tempo, as it were. Remembering also that the Nigerian army has borne the larger brunt in terms of impact on society over the years of the insurgency, particularly looking at the insurgency in the Niger Delta, the one in the Northeast. By the time we had 3 army divisions in the Northeast, we've lost soldiers, we've lost generals, we've lost senior officers, among the other fighting men. So it's taking the army some time to posture towards the Northwest. And I think that they've been able to correctly map the threat environment. They shape their operations correctly. And thankfully, the federal government has invested. Previous administration also kudos to them because they've also invested significantly in some area of platforms for the army to be able to take on pinpoint precision strikes on some of the positions of the known bandits. So the shaping operations of the Nigerian army over the last 2 years towards the Northwest has been good. Decent, even in the North Central. So the shaping operation, blocking operation, a number of operations in Kaduna, Abuja axis, pushing towards the Northwest, and some of those activities are beginning to bear fruit. It's not yet Uhuru, but we're making good progress.
It seems that there has been a shift in attitude, because until now, where we hear that up to 50 terrorists and captured, up to 50 terrorists were actually eliminated in this particular operation. That sort of points to the scope and extent of this operation. I wonder, do you think this is related to the president's admonition that he was expecting significant results? And do you think this points to a shift in the attitude of our military? And because some of us have always said that, look, the military doesn't have a problem in handling these matters. But I think the fact that we are all Nigerians and they have this attitude of pulling, so to speak, pulling their punches, but now such limitations are off. Does it have anything to do with that? Or is what we are seeing a result of incremental advancements and improvements in the operation of the army, even before President Tinubu's admonition to them?
Correct. I think that's the correct and fair way to look at it. That's a fair assessment. The progress has been incremental. Remember, I talked about the shaping operation. First, understanding the threat environment and resourcing for it. The Nigerian army is a conventional fighting force. So planning logistics can be very complex. You need to make requests, get approval, you need to move troops, supply logistics, you need to ensure communication line to the troops. If you're operating different FOBs, you need to plan out, sometimes you need the army engineers, you need to sort out signals, you need to sort out communication. There's a lot of things to do. World over, an army like Nigerian army, it takes some time for the army to get itself in position to begin certain operations. So it's somewhat incremental. The army has also been making several cases for itself. Remember then General Buratai was making a case for Nigerian Army Aviation to have a new corps because at the time we had a problem of close air support being provided to the fighting troops, suppressive fire, and some other advantages you can have when you have close air support. So we've made progress generally.
Yes.
We've come from a point to the point under Major General Lucky Rabo, Lieutenant General Lucky Rabo retired now, where we now began to see a synergy between the different arms of the Nigerian military. And that synergy carried on to this new administration. Then again, I would not take out from the president's directive. Remember, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Every presidential directive carries weight, not just the weight of law, but it carries the weight of the office of the commander. So once you have a commander who knows how to pull his weight, again, matching that with some political calculation, because the Nigerian army has maintained that kinetic force alone will not address some of these issues. So I think that there are a number of factors that are working together. I also rule out the fact that the Minister of Defense is also from that axis, so maybe some local on-the-ground hands-on approach is also helping. But there's good communication from the presidency. There are good vibes from the Ministry of Defense, and it's also then translating to success on the field.
Okay.
Again, not yet Uhuru.
Exactly. It's important to emphasize that. So we are sort of cautiously optimistic. Not yet Uhuru, but progress. This is definitely progress. And I ask that questions against the backdrop of the capturing of Tugan Fulani Hills, as it is known. It's a stronghold, it is said, in the Zurumi-Shinkafi axis. And the fact that they have been able to take that, which hasn't been possible until now, probably, it fits into what you're saying. But I wanted to ask you about, in terms of security, we've often heard from experts like yourself that one of the issues with this kind of a campaign is it is known, and it's important that you've been emphasizing not yet Uhuru. There's much work to be done, even as progress has been made. Does this, the point I wanted to make is that we've been told by experts like you that the point with these people is that they're in cells. You take out one, don't start dancing that you've finished them, the whole thing, because they are quick. They are able to quickly replace these fighters. Now, take for instance the situation we're in now. Is that a concern? The army has indeed established itself. But this whole question about you take one terrorist out, they quickly replace them. We hear that in other jurisdictions. Is it the same in Nigeria? Okay. The reason why he's not responding is that it froze for a while, but we're going to be back up. And, that's the question I wanted him to say, because we're happy about this, that the army is making progress. But then I wanted him to comment on the whole question of these people are able to replace themselves like magic. Okay, you're back. Okay, I don't know how much of my question you heard, but I was inquiring into the phenomenon of these terrorists. As soon as the authorities take one out, one leader or deputy or something like that, they're able to replace him very, very quickly. And therefore, we could end up back at square one. What do you think of that in relation to the situation we're in now? And I especially as it relates to Tugan Fulani Hills, which I understand is a stronghold of some of these terrorists.
Yeah, so when you're running operations like this, remember there are a lot of moving parts.
Okay.
There are a lot of moving parts. It's first a battle of attrition. So it's a matter of who gets tired first, who runs out of personnel first, who runs out of resources, and whose supply and communication logistics line is the most disrupted, such that that other force is unable to continue fighting. There is good news in terms of our posture. The Nigerian army and the Nigerian people are able to keep fighting to the point where we wear out these people. Now, the other thing we begin to appreciate better is our security culture and understanding is also improving. Rightly, suicide bombers, terrorism, all these things seem foreign to our social psyche as a people. So you understand, it's taking us some time to understand that this problem will not go away overnight. Some of us in the last 10 years have been saying that it will take a very long time.
Yeah.
It has to take a systemic, a methodological approach to addressing these issues. In all the years that we've had this burgeoning insurgency, what has changed is, for the first time in a long time, we now have a politician, true and true, as a president. That helps in no small measure, because you can then also apply political leverage to the outer environments, say the Northwest, coming down to the states in the Northwest, to provide reinforcement to the activities of the military, which themselves act as a force multiplier. So understanding first that some of these issues are also socio-political in nature, and closing the gap, is helping us achieve progress. So if you look at the Northeast, for example, the Al Bakura group, you kill one Bakura, another Bakura comes up. So it doesn't matter. In this type of warfare, it's an attritional warfare. Yes, there will be cells. Yes, there will be different activities. The same thing also with the military. The military understands that it's shooting at the moving targets. So the military engages in maneuver warfare, is also in a bit of social engineering, psychological warfare also, engages in a number of concentric activity, such that you keep weighing down the enemy, weighing down their fighting ability, bringing them to a point where they begin to second-guess themselves and doubt their own ability and degrade them. So it's not, you don't flick a switch and then this matter is off, either in the Northwest or in the Northeast. But what I can assure you, for example, is I go by air, I go by road, to the Northwest, to the Northeast, even to the Southeast. Sometimes we do these assessments, what we call a desktop review. We look at what the data is saying. We go on the ground to validate the data. There are more Nigerians traveling along the MSRs, what you call the major supply routes or roads, across this country today than you had 5 years ago. And this has been incremental. More people are traveling to the Northeast, to remote parts. Travel has increased between Abuja, Kaduna. We have not had any major incidents in the last 18 months, if the data serves me right. Incrementally, commerce is returning to the remote communities. What I think we see perhaps is sometimes an over-sensationalization of the issues that we have. The one or two issues, unfortunate as they are, seems to suck the oxygen out of the progress that the army is making. So a larger part has to deal with the psyche of the Nigerian people to understand that Nigeria is confronting a wicked, hydra-headed problem that goes beyond sometimes the insurgents themselves and pushes even to the Sahel. And then, as you see the commotion now in the US government over the funding of certain agencies, funding different non-state actors, we cannot also rule out the fact that, the ragtag team we are fighting seem well-resourced, well-trained. So it goes beyond the actors themselves. Some level of international diplomacy must come into the fore to address these issues. So it's beyond just what we see sometimes. So it will take time.
Okay. And there's also an international, as you were just talking about it, there's something of an international aspect to this, because military authorities are saying that these people, Bello Turji and Sani Black, and their fighters, quoting directly, even though I'm paraphrasing, must surrender unconditionally. In other words, no safe haven, no escape routes. In fact, I think they're calling it something like Operation No Mercy. But I wanted to ask you about the fact that Tugan Fulani Hills, that has now been captured, is seen as something of a strategic victory as well, because the area is said to also serve as a key route for arms smuggling from Niger Republic and Mali. So that probably will be helping a lot too if that supply route chain is disrupted. So they really are put on the run now, are they not?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think that we are perhaps getting a bit too excited. You are dealing with a very highly mobile force. A RAPTAC, highly mobile, highly dynamic, highly trained, and to some extent significantly resourced fighting force. The borders between Nigeria stretching all the way from Niger, Chad to the Lake Chad Basin to Cameroon, you know how the border is. So again, I talked about the battle of attrition and cutting off supply. It's an ongoing operation where you have a lot of shifting and changing. So the adversary is also adapting to the operations of the Nigerian army, as the Nigerian army is also adapting to the operations of the adversary and to the situation on the ground. So that one here, I mean, it doesn't change it. It's not like that is the Mandara Mountain in the northeast, for example. So it may slow down significantly for now, their operation. But because of the topography of the other parts and the advantages they have, when choosing their operating basis, I don't see this slowing them down beyond 1 or 2 weeks. And then the activity will resume again. So what we need to do is to continue our cooperation with Niger, with Chad, with even Mali, to create a counter force. When I talked about a blocking operation, we are doing that. A blocking operation simply means that when you're applying pressure from a particular point, you anticipate every possible escape route, against the coming attack, and then you mount certain operations to block their retreats, hoping to hold them up into a corner, put them in a fire pocket. So again, like I said, these people also understand war tactics. They understand, they have local intelligence. They've been reported to also have ISR capabilities. They are flying drones. So you expect them to adapt and change. So I don't want us to be too excited about the progress we're making, because there's still a whole lot of work that needs to be done, a whole lot more support that needs to go to the Nigerian army.
But as we are speaking, this is a combined armed forces operation, is it not? It's not just the army, the air force. I don't know if there's a place for the navy, but it's like, it's an armed forces rather than a Nigerian army affair.
Do forgive me, please. You mentioned the concept combines armed warfare. I don't have enough information at hand to think that Nigeria has achieved significant competence in combined armed warfare. Because you are talking about the ability to direct artillery fire using drones, You are talking about complete domain awareness using persistent, consistent ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. You are talking about the ability to also do reconnaissance in attack. While you are doing recon, you have the capability to provide pinpoint precision and fire, and then do instant battle damage assessments on the fly. You're talking about an integration and whole of army, maybe brigade level, battalion level, divisional level, combined armed warfare. So I don't think we are still building our platforms and capability. Some of that is occurring. To your question, if I understand correctly, yes, there are components of the Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Army, and some parts the mobile force of the Nigerian Police, working also with civilian JTF vigilante. So if that is the aspect of combined arms warfare you are looking at,
Yes.
yes, you are having different task forces operating, but you know that we don't we don't develop fighter aircrafts in Nigeria. Neither do we develop some of these munitions that they use. So for every precision bomb you deploy, you may be looking at a bomb as expensive as $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
many $100,000 per fire can Nigeria afford, or $20,000?
Wow. Well,
So
thank you for putting all of this in perspective, because first of all, it needs to be said that it is good news that is being reported, but you're also now putting it in perspective. You said more than a couple of times that it's not yet Uhuru, and things you have said after that have served to expatiate on that particular thing. So Nigerians, we must sort of keep our emotions in check, as it were. You've said it, it's not yet Uhuru. There's much work that still needs to be done, even as that which has been done is commendable. Now, I wanted to sort of extend this conversation to back to the president again, giving marching orders to the armed forces. Let me just put it at armed forces. Let me not just say army. Giving, marching orders to the armed forces that that is the president expects a real lowering of criminality. I wanted to extend it out of the northern axis, because that's not the only place where we have criminality. It might be that we're taking what is most urgent first. Do you see this extending all over the country, down to the south, east, southwest, and everywhere else, this onslaught against criminality? I ask this question against the backdrop of you having explained to us that there's much that needs to be done, and two, there are many moving parts in a situation like this, as you have said. Do you see them being able to extend the president's directive out of the north into other areas, inclusive?
You're not asking very simple questions today, sir.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I offended you by any means. Okay, so let us try. Let us try.
Okay.
The president is a politician, first of all. I worry when politicians, and with due respect to the president, issue marching orders. I always ask myself, have you provided the people the marching resources? And what you find in our armed forces is that they cannot complain, they can't protest, they can't say anything. They have to work with what they are given. There is no army in this world that is trained to die. Every army is trained to fight and to win. For them to do that, you must give them the fighting chance. The army must be tooled. They must have the unique capabilities relative to the threat environment to be able to deliver on the mandates given to them by the Nigerian people. If the Nigerian people are failing in resourcing the army, we have no rights whatsoever, no iota of any right to blame them for failing. So the first question is, are those orders being matched by requisite equipment and capabilities? If the answer is no, then again, we are leaving the Nigerian army to improvisation. And improvisation is what we've been doing over the last 20-something years. So we keep shooting at a moving target.
Okay.
Now, in terms of the correctly assessed progress across the polity, there are a number of factors moving this. I do very sincerely think, and correctly too, I should think, that it is an aberration to charge Mr. President with the full responsibility for internal security. I stand to be corrected, but internal security is not the responsibility of the sole responsibility of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There are 3 tiers of government and different arms of government. Where the legislature fails, it becomes difficult for the judiciary to succeed, which then becomes difficult for the executive to succeed. Where the subnational governments fail in their primary responsibility of safety, security, and prosperity of the people, there's nothing the president can do. Little he can do. We are now talking about local government autonomy. We've charged that the governors should stop being derelict of their responsibility of being CSO. The governors can mobilize the people to win election, but they cannot, seemingly for some strange reason, mobilize the people to improve security. We have some good examples, however. Case in point, Governor Zulum in Borno State, who is showing the political will, the temerity, the amplitude of mind to take this fight to these people. We've seen progress in Anambra State, for example, because you have a governor who will not hand over the reins of power, the levers of power, to insurgent groups. We've seen in Abia State improved security because the governor has no room for insecurity. The man is a businessman. He wants business to thrive. And, prosperity cannot happen in a place where you have insecurity. So the governors are now being held more accountable, and we need to see more of this. The media must help shape the narrative. Let us flash a scorecard for the governors with the most incident of insecurity, and let us hold the governors responsible. Now we have local government autonomy. I will not be surprised if some senators, House of Rep members begin to contest for local government election, which is good.
Indeed.
Because now the local governments are now resourced. We've seen a president who has increased budget from 45 trillion, I think they're about to 50-something trillion, saying because there's excess revenue. The federal government is saving, the last time I checked, about 1 trillion a month. There is money. There is fund. So economic activities, as they continue to increase, the governors become more liquid. We expect that more people will be engaged. If you look at our subsisting national security strategy, 2019, I don't think it's been amended. It says that human security will be the basis upon which will drive national security and national interest. You cannot achieve human security where people have a lack of access to amenities that will aid their own self-aspiration. No job, no food, no healthcare, nothing, the rest. So is the responsibility of security peculating to the subnational level? Yes, it is. Are we holding them more responsible? No, we are not. How many times do we hear of local government chairmen who do not reside in their area of responsibility, who do not report their area of responsibility or reside in the state capital? Who is doing the scorecard for the local government chairman?
Indeed.
So again, like I say, too many moving parts.
Exactly. Okay, Mr. Adekoya, we're going to take a break now. Do please stay with us. We'll be right back. We'll continue, and we'll take your calls as well if they come. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
You're watching Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. President Tinubu, since he assumed office,
we are on our way to progress.
6 out of the 8 APC federal lawmakers.
I have a movement structure that's going to take back our party in Enugu State. Because this one I'm seeing is tales by moonlight. It's not working.
So I'm wondering what you think or who you think can stop him now.
He doesn't own the party.
One of the causes of inflation is because people cannot go to the farm.
The government still needs to do more so that people can eat.
I believe what clamoring for is more responsible use of social media. Not that people just go in there and think that they can say anything to anybody.
Tinubu is not one who believes in the simple. I mean, he wants to get it done. He will face it. He will get it done.
Yes, the president, from inception of his administration, focused squarely on diversifying the economy and driving in investments to cushion the effect of everything that we've seen, ranging from COVID-19 to the global commodity shocks, global financial crisis, and all of that.
I was privileged to have worked under a governor who believed in the system, who also built up the system, and I'm going to do same.
All right, that's our show today, everyone. Thanks for being a part of it.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Okay. Mr. Adekoya is still with us, and we're looking at the security situation in the country, especially the northwest insecurity, troops sustaining an offensive against bandits in Zamfara. And with Mr. Adekoya's help, we understand that, it's not yet uhuru. Much has been done, much is to be commended, but it is by no means the end. We haven't ended the matter. So thank you very much for that perspective. Now, this reminds me, talking about security generally, and especially as I extended it to out of the north, the story that the National Assembly querying the police that arms, many AK-47 rifle and other rifles had been stolen, police had been dispossessed, and the National Assembly was wanting to make a big deal of that. But the police PRO has since said that they need to they will get back with a fuller report. But in the meantime, I think they have said preliminarily that there are no missing arms from the police that are not accounted for. But the National Assembly wants to know what exactly is going on. How did arms from the police end up missing and presumed to be in the hands of whoever might have been stealing them or might have been the attackers? Talk to me, if you will, on this whole question of so many arms missing from the police, the word being missing. What does that mean?
Well, if they count the number of arms missing, possibly they'll be counting the number of lives lost also. And I would love the National Assembly to also tell Nigerians what is the welfare package for a policeman who dies while in service to the fatherland. I don't know if you look at the roadblocks where you see the police. Do you see them wearing bulletproof vests? That's a rhetorical question. So we leave policemen carrying an assault rifle, bare-chested. Sometimes this rifle sells in the black market an average of 800, 1.5. Used to, it'll probably be region of 3 million, 4 million now. And all somebody needs to do is to come to a police checkpoint, case these 48 hours, 1 week in, 1 week out they are doing. They should be on 8 hours rotation. The policemen working within civil centers should carry service pistols. They should have body armor, because protection for personnel is also very important. And their work conditions should be better. They talk about missing weapons. I'm shocked that this is what we're talking about.
Yes.
When was the last time we heard of a major national investment in the Nigerian police force? We've heard of air platforms being purchased for the Air Force. We've heard of major arms deal for the Nigerian Army. The Navy has seen significant investment. I do not recall since I started doing this job any news that said that the federal government has invested majorly. Even weapons have their own lifespan. It is only the Nigerian police that I know that have their rifles with muzzles bent, ineffective, rifles that are due for a change. So there are a number of challenges. We've heard reports where you deploy a command, maybe a state command, and the command is receiving only 100,000 a month to run the.
Okay, I'm sure you've worked out that the system that is internet
of the command, and then you say bail is free, or report to tell us that the police is getting 10,000 naira per month for fuel. Then you say you are looking for weapons. What exactly are we looking for in Nigeria?
Exactly. Again, thank you very much for this, because people don't realize it. I mean, I can speak for myself, that there are so many other aspects to what we expect of our police. In fact, we have a video report. Let's play that report, and then I'll come back and continue.
3,900 plus unaccounted for. Unaccounted for is different from missing. So I know these regularities have come, and that's why when they had the first sitting yesterday, they adjourned till I think the Monday or whatever. I know there's adjournment, and the police will give police enough time to go and prepare, come up with documents to show. The police had already responded to this audit query from the Office of the Auditor General. But let me specifically speak to the issue of the missing hands, because it's of importance to us, so that we will not go and push out unnecessary fears in the minds of Nigerians. We will not paint Nigerian nation unsafe in the face of the global community. Every year we have reports of internal audit of armories, and statutorily by the provisions of the police regulations, the Assistant Commissioner of Police Operations of every command is mandated to audit armories on a regular basis. So we always have this. We are shocked to have this figure. The police has never lost any 3,900 plus arms.
Okay. So there you have it, Mr. Adiko. You know, the police response there. But I was shocked when you spoke about some defective arms that are men in police uniform. I really was shocked when you said that, but you would know that they have to carry these things, and God forbid that they need to deploy their weapons. I mean, a bent barrel. I mean, I could immediately, I got it, and it doesn't have to be visibly bent. I can imagine these rifles, arms, they're high precision pieces of equipment. So even a bend that is not obvious to the naked eye, I can imagine just how dangerous that might be. So I was, as I said, I was shocked. Do the police authorities know this, and can they send out their men with such defective arms, even though it is no fault of theirs?
What do you want the police to do? The police to come out and protest on the streets that they don't have body armor, they don't have proper rifles, they don't have proper kitting. Without the state governors in Nigeria, the police will have been flat on their stomach, because it's the state governors who are buying vehicles. logistics is important in any fighting formation. So if you look at the rot in logistics, you can imagine the rot in armament of the Nigerian police force. So I do urge the National Assembly members, yes, the audit is good and is necessary, but every armament should have its shelf life. The Nigerian army will be suffering the same thing. But come to think of it, we have DICON in Nigeria that's supposed to be producing some of these things under license. We are not able to, on good authority, produce even munitions, live rounds. We are not able to meet our domestic demand. We cannot meet it locally. So there are a number of issues, really. I don't like it when we pick a part of a problem and look at it. Yes, let us do the audit. But can we also do a broader audit? To say that in 2025, does our police have the requisite equipment and training and capabilities to do the 21st century policing? We talk about having smart cities. Do we have smart police?
Do we even have the numbers we require? That has been said consistently.
Our excellencies, our honorables and distinguished have the numbers with them. Some of them move with a whole police station.
Exactly.
So, and they're asking where are the weapons. They should look to their convoy. The weapons are there. Some of their policemen carry triple magazines, double magazines. The weapons are there. But I'm not in any way, shape, or form excusing the police from being accountable, because the police understands their own duties. But sometimes these ACPs are handicapped. You sent out maybe 100 people on different operations. They come back, 20 is dead over a period of 1 week. Where their rifles, you could not recover the rifle. What is the ACP going to do?
Yes.
Every project, you have to have some accommodation for loss. It's just basic logistics planning. So yes, let the people responsible give account. Yes, the societies are washed with small and light weapons. Yes, it is true. It is correct. But can we also audit? Why should the police officer on stop and search or this be carrying an AK-47? Give them pistols now. We are in the 21st century now. A police officer should be approachable. Why is it that the people cannot approach the police and they don't see as being You have given the man an assault rifle. You don't carry an assault rifle for play. Once you hold it, the thing is calling for action. So there are a number of issues, really. I hope that we'll do a holistic audit.
Exactly. You know, this is the way it is in our neck of the woods, because Nigerians are highly mobile people. They travel all over the world, and apart from places like America and some other countries where the police arms, the side arms, I believe that's what they call pistols, and those small arms, that is part of their uniform. In Nigeria, I don't know if it's an African thing or it's a Nigerian thing, you see them and you've just queried, why exactly should the police that you seek people to approach, to be able to approach, why are they carrying assault rifles, which is the other name for the AK-47? It's an assault rifle. I wonder, so what are we going to do? But you brought out a very important point for me, I think, when you said, okay, so what do you want the police to do in relation to defective equipment? Is the police going to come out? Or
missing equipment, or unaccounted for equipment.
Are they going to come out and protest? So that's another stricture. They are a disciplined arm of government, and so I guess the things that we ordinary members of society consider as our rights, maybe those rights are not readily available to the police to come and speak about the conditions of his workplace. So this is a sort of a double jeopardy for the police that we are asking a lot from. And perhaps it's requiring understanding of the nature of the work of the policeman.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. And that's why I say that we're not serious about security in this country. We're not. We're not. We think we are, but we are not, because you will look at the emphasis to security on how we are planning for security. Nigeria is one of the very few countries where everybody is a security expert. And they think they understand. So, I mean, since the issue of audit has come up, let's also audit. The UN standard is that for every 500 people, you should have one policeman. Can we audit that also? Please, by all means. Can we audit the Nigerian police colleges to see the quality of minds that we're producing across the country? Can we audit that? Can we audit the police offices and the police barracks and see if they come anywhere close to what is expected? So we have very great aspirations and hope of the police, but are we matching this with the required resource? We forget very quickly that we've had a long checkered history with the military, and the society as a whole tends generally to prioritize the military over the police. But we're in a democracy. In a democracy, there's a cardinal principle of civil rule that says that every agency that has to do with force will be subject to the leadership of a civilian. In a democracy, the police is the primary establishment responsible for internal security. It is the police first. But when you have security councils of the state, you tell the brigade commander in the state to sit down before the CP. What do you need a brigade commander for? You know, so we don't seem to know what we should know, because when we need advice, we call a retired military person. With profound respect to the professionals there. A military officer is trained to shoot, to kill, to degrade, to win a war. The policeman is trained. Who is a policeman? A civilian taken from the society to exercise rights of other civilians on their behalf to ensure peace and prosperity for everybody. So who do you want to take advice from when it comes to matters of all of society's security? A policeman or the military? That's why they are carrying the AK-47. And that's why, you know, I mean, in some countries, the police have a union. They have police union. When they will tell you that, no, we're not going to go out because we won't die for nothing. You want us to go out, provide us the equipment, provide us the welfare. We do not have that.
And that would be treasonable. Would that not be treasonable here?
Within our own context, that's treasonable, and I agree. But you see, that's what I'm saying. Internal security should not be the primary responsibility of it. And I've been saying, the president, it's high time the president showed leadership, get these governors together, let them sign up on state police, push that responsibility to them. Do weapons classification for the state police at the subnational level. Let them carry only pistols. Afford them a minimum number of tactical squads to support their police team. The Mopo squadron, we have about 79 squadrons. Thereabouts. I don't know if it's an increase, but last time I checked, 79 squadrons. They are supposed to be special response team deployed across the Federation to quickly respond in the support of the black and black police. So maintain your Mopo squadron, maintain your specialized team, allow the police, state police, go in, do the investigation, corner the suspects, where they need suppressive fire, call in the tactical team to SWAT, or call in federal support and close in.
Indeed.
But somebody steals my handkerchief, I have to go and call federal police. I will say, we are serious.
I understand.
I'm looking for my chicken. I'm looking for my chicken. I will go and call the police of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so the man is dealing with chicken, he's dealing with handkerchief, he's dealing with missing spoon, all sorts of misdemeanor. And then there's a kidnap case. It is the same IPO that has to deal with it.
Really, the police have their work cut out for them. Just briefly, Mr. Adekoya, as we close, we're just seconds away from closing. The role of intelligence in all of this, whether from the army, as we started off talking in the north, to coming to the rest of the country with the police especially, are you satisfied that the caliber, quality of our intelligence is improving incrementally?
No, we have intelligence. We don't have a problem of intelligence, I can assure you.
Okay.
The DSS has a station chief in every local government across this country. The police has the police intelligence unit. The military has the DMI, the DIA. We have the NIA. Every formation, law enforcement formation, has an intelligence unit. We have intelligence. The problem is, what are you doing with intelligence? When you have actionable intelligence, what capabilities can you bring to bear to act on that intelligence?
That's the problem. That is the challenge right there. I mean, having intelligence is one thing, getting all the quote-unquote answers is another, and then finally, as you said, acting on the stuff that you know is the real at the end of it. Well, I want to thank you very much, Mr. Onyekachi Adekoya, for this enlightenment that you've put on the whole matter, especially the warning you've given us to be cautiously. Go ahead and be optimistic, but do please be cautious about it. There's still a long way to go in terms of achieving the president's objective, and indeed the military's objective as well. So once more, I want to thank you very much, Mr. Adekoya.
Thank you very much.
All right. And we're going to have to leave it here. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.